How's it going, everyone? Sean here from Raw Technique Studios. I was doing a video last week on Reverb on a rap vocal, and one of the comments was that they liked my vocal chain for this one, so they wanted me to go over that. So I figured I'd do a quick video on just breaking down that vocal chain to show that person and everybody else why I have so many EQs and compressors and everything like that on here to get the sound that I wanted. So the very first thing I need to do to show you this is to work my way backwards. So right now it's running through all these plugins here, and it's running through my mastering chain here. So to be able to work backwards, what I'm going to do is leave my final limiter on. So this will just be as is. There are a couple little bumps in, let's see, what is this at? So this is a multiband compressor, and it's a little dip here, a little bump here. You can see the frequency range is where it's at. So that will be affecting the sound a tiny bit, but just wanted to show you that first. So what I need to do is I'm going to bypass all this, but let me show you what it sounds like. Here's the audio running through this vocal chain and the mastering.
I need to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. The alarm ringing, no song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. I earthquake, the game is gonna shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut. Easy to climb, but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need to keep pushing my dreams? Besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they gonna get it indeed.
All right, so now I'm on just the vocal chain.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. The alarm ringing, no song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. I earthquake.
All right, so let's go ahead and break this down. I'm going to take everything off, and then we'll work our way through it. So I like to start with a de-esser. This is just to clean up any of the high-end frequencies, like the sibilants, anything like that. And this is a really low frequency to be de-essing at. So if I do the side chain, you could hear what I'm de-essing. So that's a lot of information that it's not just sibilants. I'm actually compressing the top end of the vocal. So with this sound, I was there was a lot of high end just to start out with. So I wanted to de-ess quite a bit of it. If you hear just the audio, let me bypass the de-esser.
I've been on my job with no pay cut. Easy to climb, but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need to keep pushing my dreams? Besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys.
So it's not overly sibilant, but I just thought it sounded better with this top end compression.
Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they gonna get it indeed. I'm planting the seeds, I'm trying to receive.
All right. Plus, I always know that when I get through my EQing, I'm going to be taking out a lot of mids and lows, and it tends to make the signal sound brighter, which makes the sibilants and the high end stand out more. So sometimes I'll hit the de-esser a little bit harder, as long as you're not overdoing it. So my next step is EQ. So my typical reductive EQ. I just listen to each. I'll do a little boost. Like for example here, I'll open up the Q. So like 4 or so. And then I'll do a boost. And then I'll sweep it around until I hear a sound that I don't like. Once I find that sound that I don't like, I'll stop there, reduce the frequency a couple dB or so, open up the Q, and that's it. So these are all the frequencies I found that I didn't really like. So let's listen to it now.
Invest in my cheese in case I recede. If it falls down, we'll be safe to leave. I got a dream without a doubt, I'll make it happen. Who knew way back in high school I could be this good at rapping? All aboard.
So you hear it just cleans up that low end a bit. Now, I didn't quite think it was finished, so I created another EQ and did the same exact thing, listening for any bad frequencies, and found a couple new spots, but overall, if you look at the old one, or the first one, and then the second one, this is kind of the only difference here. The rest were just additional reductions. So here's before, and then I'll turn it on as it plays.
Mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they gonna get it indeed. I'm planting the seeds, I'm trying to receive. Invest in my cheese in case I recede.
So it just tightens it up a little bit more. So I was like, okay, that's a good sound. Let's move on to compression. So I want to start controlling those dynamics. And my first compressor, pretty fast attack, about a normal release. And then it's pretty light compression on here, averaging about 1 to the most 3 dB of attenuation. And then I'm putting a good amount of gain into the signal, so the ratio is not too high or anything like that.
No song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. I earthquake, the game is gonna shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut. Easy to climb, but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need?
All right, so it adds a little bit of gain because I'm putting more gain than I am taking out as with the attenuation. And it's just controlling the dynamics just a little bit. But what I wanted to do is hit it with the compressor again because I didn't want to over compress just on one compressor. I remember in college, my professor for my mixing or recording classes and all that stuff, he was a mastering engineer for Sony, and he likes to use multiple compressors in with like not overdoing it. So just a little bit of compression on this one, and then he'll do a little bit compression on this one. So instead of just controlling the dynamics with one compressor with heavy settings, break it up into maybe 2 compressors instead of just that one. So this is what I'm doing here, just a little bit more compression on the second compressor.
To keep pushing my dreams, besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they gon' get it indeed. I'm planting the seeds, I'm trying to receive. Invest in my cheese in case I recede. If it falls down, we'll be safe when to leave.
So you can see I'm having heavier compression on the second one, and I'm getting almost to -5 dB. So that's where my attenuation stops. And then to control the levels even more, I went with a vocal writer, and I like to do the fast setting, and then I close this a bit so you can see I have 2.2 and -2.6. That's the range in which this fader could pull up or down. And then you set your target to where the average level is hitting 0. So that's how I set my target. And then everything else is either going to go over or under the target, which is in turn going to turn up or turn down the rider.
I got a dream, without a doubt, I'll make it happen. Who knew way back in high school I could be this good at rapping? All aboard? Don't worry about traction, cause I'm the captain. Sit back and enjoy your ride and stay focused with no distraction. Now we gone.
All right, so as you can see when it comes in, I'm doing a lot of boosting pretty much. It's not very many reductions, so it is riding it in a positive instead of a negative for the most part, but you could set up your vocal rider to do whatever you want. Maybe there's a lot of high peaks in the signal. So I did compress twice before running through this vocal rider, so there's not as much of a dynamic range, but there's still a little bit, and this is to give it a little bit more of a smooth sound. Okay, so I had this.
I need to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
And what I'm doing while listening to it is I'll throw in a beat.
The alarm ringing, no song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. I earthquake, the game is gon' shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut. Easy to climb, but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need?
All right, so I liked the vocals, but I felt like there's still too much low end coming in on them. So I threw up another EQ, and I'll press play, you'll hear the difference.
To keep pushing my dreams, besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they gon' get it indeed. I'm planting the seeds, I'm trying to receive.
So it's up to you if you want that thicker up front vocal compared to a pushed back a little bit thinner vocal. I thought it sounded better with a little bit thinner vocal, so I added this EQ to thin it out. And then lastly, one more EQ just to really shape that sound and control that high end coming through here.
Makeup, earthquake, the game is gon' shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut. Easy to climb, but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need to keep pushing my dreams? Besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas. That's what they want and they go.
So it just makes the vocal a little bit tighter. And this is just filtering out anything that was just too high pitched. It's not filtering out the clarity in the vocal at all. I even did a little dip right here at 7K because it was just a lot of high end coming through. On top of all that, I put another de-esser, and this controls just again that top end sibilance.
Music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend try to take a trip overseas.
So the reason I really pay attention to that top end in this vocal is because I know in my mastering chain, when I throw on this oxide plugin here and I put the EQ up, that's going to make it a lot brighter. So here's the vocal without it, and then I'll put this in.
No song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. Break the game, it's gon' shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut, easy to climb, but...
So hear how much high end came in on that vocal. I'm aware that I'm going to be putting this on, so I really control the top end of my vocal during the mixing process. So one last step, let's throw on the reverb. And the reverb is what we went over in the last video, but just briefly go over it here. So without it, and then I'll turn it on.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. The alarm ringing, no song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. Break the game, it's gon' shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut, easy to...
So it just makes it fit better into the song instead of sounding like a dry vocal on top of a beat. And what I'm doing is bussing it out and on an aux track. That same bus is my input, and then I throw up my reverb unit. I like using this UAD Reverb Pro, and I have my own little setting that I like, so you can see that all here. And the main focus, like on the last video, is the tail, and you can see right here it's at 0.72 seconds, so it's a not super long tail, but it's a pretty tight tail, so you don't hear too much of the reverb after each vocal that goes through it. But I also like to EQ my reverb, so I threw up a filter here just to filter out the high end, and just makes the EQ, or sorry, not the EQ, the reverb not stand out as much, because the high end frequency tends to come through really noticeable on the reverb, so I just wanted to dampen it a bit. All right, and that is it for that whole vocal chain. That's how it went from this sound right here.
Wake up, wake up. The alarm ringing, no song singing, need Maybelline to get makeup. Break the game, it's gon' shake up. And love and music can't break up. I've been on my job with no pay cut, easy to climb but harder to stay up. Hey, so what do I need to keep pushing my dreams? Besides music and weed, mama says she wanna whip with the keys. Girlfriend trying to take a trip overseas, that's what they want and they gon' get it indeed. I'm planting the seeds, I'm trying to receive, invest in my cheese in case I recede. If it falls down,
all right, so you can hear the difference, and then throw in my mastering.
be safe in the league. I got a dream, without a doubt, I'll make it happen. Who knew way back in high school I could be this good at rapping? All aboard, don't worry about traction, cause I'm the captain. Sit back and enjoy your ride and stay focused with no distract. Now we gone, I'ma keep chasing these dreams till we on. Every TV screen know I'm all that you see on your phone. We go strong, until I make the latest theme song.
Alright, so hopefully you guys learned something from that. Don't go out and put 4 EQs on every single vocal that you do. You don't always have to use multiple compressors and a vocal writer. But if your dynamics are out of control, then yeah, break it up into a couple compressors to make it to where it's not everything all in one compressor. EQ, sometimes 6 bands aren't enough, so you use multiple. And then after the fact, I like to use EQ just to shape the sound. So I don't care how many EQs it takes. If I'm not happy with the sound, I'll throw on another EQ to shape it to fit better. So it usually doesn't take this many EQs, but in this case it did. So sometimes you get away with 1 or 2 EQs on the vocal chain, but it just depends on whether you got to that sound that you like or not. And then the de-esser at the end, it's not always needed, but like I said, I really like to control my high end because I know during mastering I'm going to be adding a lot more to it using that oxide plugin. Yeah, but my typical chain is just a de-esser, an EQ, and a compressor. That's what I start with on every single vocal mix. I'll throw reverb on it as well. And then all of this here, this is all just extra to really shape that sound. All right, so use what you need to get the sound you want, but don't overdo it, and it's not necessary on every single mix. So I'll see you guys in the next video. If you like this, hit that thumbs up, comment. If you have any questions, hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.